Here's something that sounds almost impossible. The thing you do every single morning to feel clean and fresh, your daily shower, may be quietly harming your skin after 70. I know how strange that sounds. We've spent our whole lives believing that washing is good for us, that more cleaning means more health. And for most of our lives, that was true enough. But something changes after 70. Your skin becomes a different thing than it was at 30, and the habit that once helped you can slowly start to work against you. And here's the part that catches people off guard. It isn't dirty water or poor hygiene doing the damage. It's the washing itself. The hot water, the soap, the daily repetition, quietly stripping away something your aging skin desperately needs and can no longer easily replace. So stay with me, because I'm going to explain exactly what happens to your skin, step by step. And the fourth thing I'll show you is the most serious consequence of all. One that goes far beyond simple dryness, and that almost nobody connects back to their morning shower. We'll get there together. Now, I want to be clear about what this video is and what it isn't. I'm not here to tell you exactly how often you should shower. That's a personal answer, and I've talked about it elsewhere. What I want to do today is something different and I think more useful. I want to explain to you why daily showering can harm older skin, what's actually happening underneath, at the level of your skin itself. Because here's what I've found. When you truly understand what's going on with your body, you make better choices naturally. You stop following rules blindly and start understanding your own skin. And that understanding is worth far more than any single piece of advice. So today we'll look at what your skin really does for you, why it changes so much after 70, exactly what a daily shower does to it, and the surprising chain of consequences that follows. If that sounds worth a few minutes, take a moment to subscribe. We share calm, trustworthy advice for older adults every week, and I'd love to have you with us. All right, let's begin. First, let's talk about what your skin actually does for you, because it's far more than you might think. Most of us go through life thinking of our skin as simply a covering, a wrapper that holds everything in and keeps us looking like ourselves. But your skin is so much more than that. It's the largest organ in your entire body, and it's working hard for you every second of every day, quietly, without ever asking for thanks. Your skin is a living barrier, a shield standing between everything inside you and the whole outside world. It keeps the precious moisture and warmth inside your body where they belong. And just as importantly, it keeps the harmful things out. Bacteria, irritants, the cold, the dryness, all the countless threats that would love to get in. Now, there are two quiet heroes in this story that I want you to remember, because the whole video comes back to them. The first is a thin layer of natural oils that sits on the surface of your skin. Think of it as a fine, invisible coat. It seals moisture in and keeps your skin soft, supple, and protected. The second is something called the acid mantle, a very slightly acidic film that covers your skin and acts almost like a security guard, keeping harmful bacteria from settling in and taking hold. Together, that oil layer and that acid mantle form your skin's protective barrier. When it's healthy and whole, your skin feels comfortable, stays moist, and fights off trouble without you ever noticing. You don't think about it because it simply works. Let me tell you about Howard. He's 73, and he told me once that he'd gone his entire life never thinking about his skin even for a moment. It was just there, doing its job, completely taken for granted. It was only when it started troubling him, when it grew dry and itchy and uncomfortable, that he realized his skin had been quietly protecting him all those years. He'd never noticed the shield until it began to crack. And understanding what that shield actually was changed everything about how he cared for it. Now here's the crucial part. Why your skin is so different after 70. The skin you have today is not the skin you had at 30 or even at 50. It has changed in ways that are completely natural, but that matter enormously for how you should treat it. And once you understand these changes, everything else makes sense. The first big change is your oil production. Those glands in your skin that produce the natural oils, the ones that form your protective coat, slow down dramatically as you age. By the time you're past 70, your skin is making far less oil than it used to. So that protective layer we just talked about is already thinner, already more fragile, before you've done anything at all. The second change is that your skin itself becomes thinner. The layers that make up your skin grow finer and more delicate over the years. Thinner skin is more easily irritated, more easily damaged, and it holds on to moisture far less effectively than the thick, supple skin of youth. And the third change might be the most important of all. Your skin heals and renews itself more slowly now. When you're young, your skin repairs damage quickly. It rebuilds that protective barrier almost as fast as anything can wear it down. But after 70, that repair process slows considerably. When the barrier is stripped away, it takes much longer to rebuild. And that single fact is at the very heart of why daily showering becomes a problem. So picture where that leaves us. Less protective oil to begin with, thinner, more delicate skin, and a much slower ability to repair the barrier once it's damaged. Your skin's defenses are already running lean, already stretched thin, simply from the natural process of aging. Let me tell you about Gloria. She's 76. For years, she used the same soap, the same hot showers, the same routine she'd had since she was a young woman, and her skin had always been perfectly fine. Then seemingly out of nowhere in her 70s, that very same routine started leaving her skin dry, tight, and irritated. Nothing about what she was doing had changed. What had changed was her skin. It simply couldn't keep up with the routine anymore. And she had no idea why until she understood these changes. So now let's see exactly what a daily shower does step by step. Here's where everything comes together. Imagine your skin in the morning, its protective barrier intact, that thin coat of oil and that acid mantle doing their quiet work. Now you step into the shower. The warm water feels wonderful. But water alone, especially when it's hot, begins to loosen and rinse away that delicate layer of natural oil. Then comes the soap. Soap is designed to dissolve oil and grime. That's its whole purpose. But it can't tell the difference between the dirt you want gone and the protective oils you desperately need to keep. So it strips both away, and those strong scented antibacterial soaps so many of us reach for, they're the most aggressive of all. They don't just remove the oil. They disrupt that slightly acidic mantle too, leaving your skin's security guard knocked off duty. So you step out of a single shower with your protective barrier weakened, the oil thinned, the acid mantle disturbed. Now, if you were young, here's what would happen. Over the next several hours, your skin would simply rebuild it all. Fresh oil produced, the mantle restored, good as new by the next day. No harm done. But you're not 30 anymore. After 70, your skin makes less oil and repairs itself much more slowly. So it can't fully rebuild that barrier before tomorrow morning comes around. And then what do you do tomorrow morning? You shower again. You strip it again before it ever had the chance to recover from yesterday. Here's the simplest way I can put it. Imagine a bank account. Every shower is a withdrawal from your skin's protection. When you're young, you earn that money back quickly so the account stays full. But after 70, the deposits come in slowly. If you make a withdrawal every single day faster than the deposits arrive, the account drains. Day after day, the balance drops lower and lower until one day your skin's protection is simply running on empty. That's not a single bad shower. That's the slow, quiet cost of doing it every day with skin that can no longer keep up. Now we come to the one I promised you at the very start, the most serious consequence of all, and it goes far beyond dry, itchy skin. This is where a simple habit can turn into a real health problem. The most serious consequence, a broken skin barrier. So far we've talked about dryness and discomfort, but when that protective barrier is stripped away day after day and never allowed to recover, something more serious begins. The barrier doesn't just get thin, it breaks, and a broken skin barrier opens the door to a chain of problems, each one leading to the next. It starts with dryness, the kind that goes deeper than surface tightness. Then comes the itching, persistent, nagging, the kind that makes you scratch. And here's the trouble. Scratching dry, fragile skin damages it further. Then the dry skin begins to crack. These are often tiny cracks, far too small to see, especially on the lower legs, the arms, the hands. But small as they are, every one of them is an opening, a breach in the wall that was supposed to keep the outside world out. And this is the serious part. Through those cracks, bacteria can get in. On young, healthy skin with a strong barrier, those bacteria would be turned away. But on older skin with the barrier broken and the acid mantle gone, they can settle in and cause infection. And here's what matters most. An older body fights off infection more slowly and less effectively than a young one. So what began as a little dryness from too many showers can become a skin infection that needs real medical attention. For some people, the risk runs even higher. Those living with conditions like diabetes or with weakened immune systems have to be especially careful because a small break in the skin can become a serious problem far more quickly for them. For them, protecting that skin barrier isn't just about comfort. It's genuinely important for their health. Let me tell you about Raymond. He's 78 and he'd been showering every morning with hot water his whole life, never thinking twice. Over one long winter, his shins got terribly dry and began to crack, those small splits he could barely see. He didn't pay them much mind, but one of them became infected, and what should have been nothing turned into a course of treatment from his doctor and weeks of healing. His doctor explained that his daily hot showers had worn his skin barrier down to almost nothing, leaving him with no defense. Raymond was genuinely shocked that something as ordinary, as wholesome, as a daily shower could have led to that. Now, the other hidden effects most people never connect to their shower. The broken barrier is the most serious consequence, but it's far from the only one. There are several quieter effects that touch daily life in ways most people never trace back to their morning routine. They just blame old age and accept it. Take the itching. We mentioned it as part of the chain, but I want you to think about what relentless itching actually does to a person's life. Many older adults lie awake at night, unable to sleep, because their dry skin is itching and crawling. They toss, they scratch, they wake up tired, and almost none of them connect that lost sleep to the shower they took that morning. They think it's just part of getting old, or stress, or something in the bed. But sometimes the real culprit is a skin barrier, stripped bare, leaving the skin dry and maddeningly itchy by nightfall. Then there's the constant flaking and the rough, sandpapery feeling of dry skin, uncomfortable against clothing, against the sheets, all day long. There's that tight, almost stinging sensation right after a shower, which is your skin telling you, in the only way it can, that it's lost its protective coat. Some people feel their skin has simply become sensitive in their old age, reacting to fabrics or lotions that never bothered them before, when really, it's that the protective barrier is no longer there to buffer them. And there's something we don't talk about enough, how all of this wears on a person's spirit. Skin that itches and stings and feels uncomfortable every single day quietly chips away at your comfort, your sleep, your mood, your sense of ease in your own body. It's hard to feel at peace when you're uncomfortable in your own skin, literally. Let me tell you about Doris. She's 75, and for the longest time she was waking up 2 or 3 times every night, itching, unable to settle. She was exhausted during the day and assumed it was simply old age catching up with her, that this was just how sleep was going to be from now on. It never once occurred to her that her long, hot daily showers were the cause. When she finally changed how she treated her skin, the nighttime itching eased, and she started sleeping through the night again for the first time in years. She got her rest back, and she never imagined it had anything to do with her shower. So here's the gentle truth, and what all of this really means for you. Now, I don't want you to walk away from this afraid of your shower, or thinking I'm telling you never to wash again. That's not it at all. A warm shower is one of life's genuine comforts, and staying clean matters. The point isn't fear. The point is understanding. Here's the gentle truth at the heart of everything we've covered. Your skin after 70 is not the skin you had in your younger years, and it simply cannot be treated the same way. It's more delicate, it has fewer defenses, and it repairs itself more slowly. Once you truly understand that, you stop fighting your skin and start working with it. You give it the chance to keep its protection instead of stripping it away faster than it can recover. And what does that look like in practice? It means being gentler in every way that touches that barrier. It means warm water instead of hot, because hot water strips far more aggressively. It means a mild, fragrance-free cleanser used only where it's truly needed, instead of harsh soap scrubbed over every inch. It means shorter showers rather than long, lingering ones that draw the moisture out. And it means giving your skin time to rebuild between washes rather than stripping it bare every single day. I won't put a specific number on how often that should be. That depends on you, your body, and your days. What matters is the principle. Protect the barrier and let it recover. The wonderful thing is how quickly skin responds once you stop wearing it down. Give that barrier a chance and it begins to rebuild. The oil returns, the mantle restores itself, and the dryness, the itching, the cracking, they ease. Your skin was never broken beyond repair. It was simply being asked to do the impossible, rebuild faster than it was being torn down. Take that pressure away, and it heals. Let me tell you about Marjorie. She's 77, and after years of dry, uncomfortable, itchy skin that she'd resigned herself to, she finally started treating it gently. Warm water, a soft cleanser, shorter showers, and a good moisturizer afterward, giving her skin room to breathe between washes. Within a few weeks, she said her skin felt better than it had in a decade. Softer, calmer, comfortable again. She told me she wished she'd understood all of this years earlier, that she'd spent so long blaming her age, when really her skin had just been asking, the whole time, to be treated a little more kindly. So let's bring it all together, because once you see the whole picture, it makes perfect sense. Your skin is a living, protective barrier, your largest organ, guarded by a thin layer of natural oil and a slightly acidic mantle that together keep moisture in and harmful bacteria out. But after 70, that skin is fundamentally different. It produces far less protective oil, it's thinner and more delicate, and it repairs itself much more slowly than it once did. Every shower, especially with hot water and soap, strips away part of that protective barrier. When you're young, your skin rebuilds it quickly. But after 70, showering every single day strips it away faster than your skin can possibly recover, like draining a bank account faster than the deposits come in. Over time, the barrier doesn't just thin, it breaks, leading to dryness, itching, cracking, and even the risk of skin infection that an older body struggles to fight off. And along the way come the quieter costs: lost sleep from nighttime itching, constant discomfort, skin that feels raw and sensitive. But here's the heart of it. This isn't about fearing your shower. It's about understanding that your skin has changed and treating it with the gentleness it now needs, so it can keep its protection and stay healthy and comfortable. Understanding is everything. When you know what your skin is doing and why, you naturally take better care of it. And one honest note before we finish. This is general guidance, not medical advice. If you have persistent dryness, cracked or broken skin, signs of infection, or a condition like diabetes, please talk with your own doctor or a dermatologist, especially if your skin isn't healing as it should. Taking good care of yourself was never meant to be complicated. It begins with understanding, knowing what your body needs and giving it exactly that. When you understand your skin, caring for it becomes simple and natural. I'd truly love to hear from you on this one. Tell me in the comments, have you noticed any of these signs in your own skin? The dryness, the itching, the discomfort? Your honest answer might be exactly what helps someone else watching finally understand what's been happening to them. If this was helpful, tap that subscribe button so the next video finds you. And speaking of the next one, you'll want to watch this video right here, where I explain why older skin gets so dry in the first place, and the right way to shower to keep it healthy and comfortable. I'll see you over there. Until then, take good care of yourself